Hi, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, family relationships, and having good communication. And in this video, we're going to be talking about helping your child break the TV habit. In this video, I'm going to be sharing a story from my own personal life and talking about what we've done to make sure that TV is not a habit at our house. But I'm also going to share with you some fun activities that you can do instead of TV to help your children be motivated to bond with you instead. I remember when I was young, coming home from school every single day, getting a snack, maybe it was a peanut butter sandwich or a banana, and going into the family room where I would watch reruns of I Love Lucy and Bewitched, some of those little shows that were old even when I was young. But I would binge watch those things, and no one really said much about it. Then Mom came to us one time and said, "We are changing the way we do TV in this family. We are going to be earning TV tokens," she said. She had taken some cardboard and cut little circles, and she had written on them TV token. And these TV tokens were things that we had to earn. And we earned them by doing certain things in the family. And once we had enough of those TV tokens, then we could watch certain programs. Each token had a certain amount of minutes attached to it. Maybe it was 20 minutes or 30 minutes or something like that. So basically, one token meant I could watch a 30-minute program. This was Mom's way of making sure that we did not watch TV all the time, or at least not as much. And I will say Mom's system worked for a little while, but then Mom got a job. And she went to work. She was an orthodontic assistant. And when all of a sudden we came home from school and Mom wasn't there anymore, the token system went out the window. And we just started binge watching anything we wanted, and there was no adult supervision. This was not great. By the time I got married, my husband had had the same type of upbringing, and we were watching too much TV. My husband was coming home from work at lunch to watch a soap opera in the middle of the day. I thought, what's going on here? And finally, when we had our own children, we noticed something. And this one thing we noticed changed everything. My oldest son, Quinn, when he was 2 years old, loved to watch Winnie the Pooh. So we had a VHS video that was 45 minutes long, and it was Disney's Winnie the Pooh. Every morning he would wake up and he would ask if he could watch Winnie the Pooh. That's because I made the mistake of allowing him to watch this because I wanted more sleep when his baby sister was born. So he developed a habit of watching Winnie the Pooh. And then after that came sometimes Barney, Dragon Tales, Arthur the Aardvark, those kinds of things. And I was allowing this behavior to exist because it meant I got things done and I got more sleep. Well, one day I wasn't tired. I woke up early and Quinn came and asked for Winnie the Pooh, and I said, "No, we're not going to have Winnie the Pooh today. How about you come work with Mommy?" And so I allowed him to help me fold towels and do things around the house, and we had lots of fun. And then when we sat down to do our little mommy school time, when I was teaching him when he was a toddler how to read and write and learn his colors and these kinds of things, he was on fire. I'd never seen him at mommy school time have so much energy in his head and have so many thought processes going everywhere. And I thought, wow, what has happened to him today? And then I said, yeah, what has happened to him today? He didn't watch TV in the morning. That's the only difference. He's been working with me, talking with me instead of watching TV, and he's different. I wonder if it really is the TV that's shutting down some of his brain, or if this one day was just a fluke. So I conducted an experiment. The next morning, we watched Winnie the Pooh. I allowed him to watch all of his usual little programs, which took about 2 hours in the morning. After that, I invited him to work with me. He was okay about working with me, but it wasn't as good as the day before. After breakfast, when it was time for mommy school, all of a sudden he was just kind of deflated. Wasn't really into it as much. He did some, he went through it, but he wasn't invested It wasn't exciting to him like it had been the day before. There was my first study. I knew the next day had to be just the opposite to see if truly this TV was making a difference. So the next day I woke up and we repeated working together, breakfast, and then mommy school with no TV. And guess what? I got the excited, energetic Quinn that I had had 2 days before. I knew that TV was doing something to his brain. So I started studying TV and I realized that that stimulation does put the brain in a passive state and actually can inhibit learning for many people if they've had TV before they're trying to learn. So incorporating TV in our learning can sometimes be detrimental. Also, starting a day with TV or with exposure to phone, stuff like that, can actually shut down our productivity for the entire day. It also is not good for our relationships, which I'm sure is something you've probably already noticed. I hope that you've enjoyed some of the lessons that come from what we did as a family. We definitely took the time to say we're not going to be a TV family anymore. I'm going to talk more about that in a minute, as well as some other things that we did to help our child make the transition from TV. We had to use some of these things when we had foster children come to our home too, because they were transitioning off of TV when they came to our house. So what did we do? I'm going to talk about that. But before I do, click that subscribe button. There are tons of great videos on this channel all about self-government, communication, and good relationship development. These are going to be so important for you as you try to help your child transition from TV. Click the subscribe button now. My husband and I decided that the best thing we could do was become a no TV family, or a very minimal TV family. So we started not watching TV in the evenings as well. And what we would do is we would spend our time reading, playing games, discussing stuff, doing things outside, especially when the weather was good. And this made a huge difference in our family culture. In fact, we had the more traditional or historic leisure culture of generations that were long before our generation, but it made a difference. Our family relationships totally altered, and our children became very active thinkers who were engaged in learning, problem solving, and projects on a regular basis. It was one of the best things that we ever did. So did we ever watch TV? Well, not really network TV. We actually had a movie night that happened one night a week. It was Friday nights. On Friday nights, we would watch a family movie or maybe two together, and that was it. The rest of the time was just us being family and learning from books and other things. And I have to say, I would never go back and change that. As I look at how many learning things, even this whole YouTube channel that you're on right now is all about learning, and it's all digital. I wouldn't go back. I wouldn't trade it. Did we ever watch YouTube? Yeah, of course. We pulled up things that we needed and that were helpful from time to time. But I have to say, for the most part, we tried to keep a lot of that stuff turned off so that we could just have our own culture established. Hopefully you're gathering from my story that one of the most important things that you can do to help stop a TV habit is to actually bond with your child. So if you're expecting your child to stop a habit or addiction on their own, that would be totally naive. They're not going to be able to do it very well. They will lack the motivation and the skill to stick to it. And then they'll just be afraid for you to find out that they couldn't do it, so they'll start hiding some of their media time from you or trying to get it from other places like friends' houses or when they're at school. What you'll want to do is you'll want to make sure that you are an active player in their life. When you remove a habit or addiction, you have to replace it with something. The best thing to replace it with is connection. A habit or an addiction like TV or media, in fact, any habit or addiction, creates dopamine drops in the brain. And so this gives a person a feeling of comfort and like things are good after they have engaged in whatever it was that they were craving. So it's hard to combat that. The best thing that you can do to combat it is provide dopamine and oxytocin. So when you connect with a person, when you touch a person, talk to a person, look in their eyes, then they get two chemicals in the brain. They get dopamine and oxytocin. And those are both very productive chemicals that help a person have a sense of being loved and have well-being. Those those are going to be more powerful than digital stimulation. So you've got to be the person that fills yourself into that gap of TV that you're going to be removing. Years ago, someone gave me, and I think it was my mom, probably for a Christmas present or something, she gave me this book called 365 TV-free activities. She probably thought, well, Nicoleen's gone off TV. Maybe she needs some more stuff to do. And you can see all the little tabs and stuff on this. We've used it like crazy. I think the tabs were actually put in by my daughter, Paige, because she would take this book babysitting with her. She was like a favorite babysitter from all the people around us, and that's because when she would go to babysit other people's children, she would not watch TV with them. She would do activities instead, and they were activities that she had done as a child. So let's talk about some of our favorite activities. Some of them are from this book, some of them are just ones that we came up with on our own. I want to share with you a number of activities that you can do that don't cost that much money. So you want to have a craft closet on hand, or maybe just like a little container or something that has some basic craft supplies, because there's a lot of things that you can do if you've got pipe cleaners, puff balls, popsicle sticks, some glue. Make sure you have a hot glue gun. You might need that, but then also just different types of glues and tapes, different types of duct tape, washi tape, those kinds of things to make things pretty, because you want to invent stuff. One of the key things that we had on hand all the time to invent things was actually clear contact paper. So starting when the children were little, we would make placemats for different holidays or occasions. We would have dinners that were themed, and we would make a placemat special for that dinner. So let's say it was January and it was cold. We would cut snowflakes out of all different colors, and then we would stick them on the sticky side of the clear contact paper, take another layer of it and lay it over the top so that it was placemat size. And then we would have special placemats to eat on for that week in January that we would make ourselves. So clear contact paper was huge. We were constantly inventing stories, so we would draw things and then we would laminate them with our clear contact paper, and we would cut them out and we would stick them on a board and tell stories to each other. That was another thing that we did a lot. Speaking of, we also had a lot of felt stories. We found these things that were like a face with no eyes, nose, mouth, ears, hair. It was just the shape of a face, and it was felt. And then we had different eyes, different nose, different mouth, different hair, and we could sit and decorate these things with each other and come up with crazy faces. So lots of things that were manipulative like that we could play with and do silly things with. We loved stuff like that. We did a lot of family cooking, so I was raised by a master chef. She was incredible, and she taught me so many things in the kitchen about baking and cooking, and I wanted to pass those things on to my children. So we decided to create amazing things like, let's make our own homemade bagels. Let's make our own glazed donuts. Whoa, how do you do that, right? Let's start with grinding the wheat, to make the flour. We did a lot of things like that were kind of back to basics types things. But what I realized is that I wanted my children to have the confidence that came from knowing that no matter what happened in their life, they knew how to make something from nothing. So we did a lot of gardening together. We would grow things. I would give them their own sections of the garden that they could work on, but they also helped me in my sections of the garden. They would help planting. Even if they messed things up, I didn't care. A pack of seeds is like $2, and back then it was probably only $1. So if it doesn't come up, well, then a few weeks later we will plant it again. No problem, right? So we worked on all of these processes so that they could see their own hands grow something and then cook that thing or preserve that thing. We did a lot of canning and drying and freezing as well. Another thing that we did as a family is we did skits and plays, like we did acting games as a family. So we would act out some of our favorite books, some of our favorite poems or nursery rhymes, and we would also play word games where we would try to come up with homonyms for different things, and we would do plays on words. We would have talent nights and joke nights where we would have comedy night as a family. There's so many things you can do to enrich your culture as a family. If you've enjoyed this video, I know that you're going to love other videos that I have that will also improve your family culture. Click on the next video now called The Not So Known Secret for Parenting Success so that you can learn ways to improve your family culture and your skill development so that you have better communication to make all those nights that you're now going to have open even better. Click on the link now.